You ever wanted to be the boss? How about the Overboss? Welcome to Bad at Board Games.
He's bad at board games.
I'm Brad Blake.
I'm Toph Ferguson.
And we're bad at board games, so you don't have to be. Today, we're going to be talking about
Overboss. This is a game designed by Aaron Mesburne and Kevin Russ. It is published by Brotherwise Games.
They're wise, I hear.
They are wise brothers.
And the jokes will be coming all day.
Sit back and relax, because I don't know. It's going to be rough. We're gonna get through this, y'all. We're going to get through this.
You're going to get through me.
I don't know. It depends on how good of an overboss you are. So Brad, tell us a little bit about this game and what it looks like.
So it's essentially the 8-bit Minecraft kind of style. And I would have normally told you, like, I don't like it. Like if you'd have came, like, I get Minecraft, you know, it's digital Legos and that was the whole thing. But I like the artwork. So, you know, it's cute. It works with this theme, this video game theme. This is a kind of sequel to, what was the name? Boss Monster. I knew I was going to get it wrong. Mm-hmm. But, you know, you see this little box game at all the retail stores, and this is a nice gamed out version of that little box that was a big hit for Brotherwise Games.
Yeah.
And I just really like the way it looks. It comes with the game trays, which I'm always a fan of game trays. It makes it a little bit easier to table, because in this instance, you're going to pick, there's like 12 different tiles. You're going to pick 4 of those to play the game. And so, you know, you're always putting them out, and then you can put them up well, and then you can just grab and go. And then just the nice little appearance. And, you know, you have your boss that you can be, and it changes depending on what game you're playing. You're going to pick one, and it works with this game.
It does.
It really does.
It makes me feel like I'm playing an Atari game.
Yep.
Or Nintendo original.
I was going to say better than Atari. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of. I don't know. Some of the artwork is definitely getting closer to the Atari feel, but that is the first time open it, looked at it, and I was like, yes, this is my childhood right here. Yep. I've never been much of a video gamer, but I did play Atari, I did play Nintendo, and that was about it. A little bit of Sega back in the day, and then I found board games. So, but yeah, nice little looking game. And mechanic wise, it works. You know, if you are used to Boss Monster, that's going to be your card game. This is a tile placement game. It's got open drafting, so you're able to pick and choose from a limited pool what it is that you're looking for. And as we found with some of the games, you can also look at what other people are wanting and try to block them and screw them over by what you draft. So that's a fun part of it. It's got set collection. So you, depending on what tiles are out, you know, they may work better if you are collecting more of that one tile type. You're also working to get the little, I guess they're bosses, the monsters.
There's monsters and mini bosses.
Yeah, so the monsters, you're trying to get them into the correct tile type to give you more points as well. So a little bit of that set collection. A lot of it is just, you know, tile placement and trying to follow rules and trying to get the best map that you can get.
Yeah, and so kind of going on to our stories and our gameplays and such, this reminds, I know people love Cascadia. I am not one of them.
I have not played Cascadia yet, but Brad absolutely does not like it.
I wouldn't say absolutely does not like it.
Okay, so that's how
it boring.
When I said, "Oh, I want to play that game," Brad goes, "No, you don't." So,
it's too peaceful for me. Honestly, that's what it's extremely peaceful. If you want calm and serene, and that's the game for you. It is not the game for me. I'm not calm. No, would you ever say I'm calm and serene?
Not at all.
Yeah,
not in the slightest.
It doesn't go with my personality.
No. I, on the other hand, do want to play Cascadia.
So I'm sure you will like it. But to me, it's that same. It gives me all the same vibes, but in a way that I like it. Right? It's this video game. You have monsters that you're trying to bring out. This castle wants to have 4 different things around it, and these deserts want to be chained together. This tile wants to be next to mountains. This one needs to be next to water. This one can't have the same tile beside something else. And Cascadia has that same kind of thing. And then you get these cute little monsters that go with it. And unlike Cascadia, where you get to pick one of each and then place it and try to make the patterns, you have to take the sets.
Okay.
And then you're bringing them down, and you can, if you have a gate, which hopefully you'll pick one of these up in the game,
maybe you won't.
You can warp your monsters from the dungeon to the board, which allow you to change things and switch things around every turn. So it's fun. They sold out at Gen Con. So my friends from Milwaukee bought it. My son got to play it. He immediately wanted to go buy it the next day. They had already sold out at Gen Con of it. And then I ordered it online from Amazon to get it the day we got back from Gen Con, and we played it a few times since. So like my son loves this game, so it's been cute. It's just this nice. I think it plays a little longer than they're advertised, but I like it.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Our game, we definitely go longer than that. Yeah. But we also, if you haven't figured this out, bicker and get sidetracked and have other conversations going along as we go throughout the game. And that definitely, playing this with your boys, they have more of the take that mentality than I do. Mm-hmm. And so it was kind of fun to see them, decide what do they want to take that's going to screw other people over. That was a part of it. Yeah.
Sibling rivalry.
Yes, definitely was a little bit of that in there. And against us, the 2 old people sitting at the table playing as well. That extended a little bit because we had a little bit of bickering. We also laughed so hard at your son, who wanted so bad to be the person to pull the tiles out of this bag, and he forgot to do it every single time, and we're just waiting. We're like, come on, pull another tile. And so finally I just stole it, and I think I just took over, started doing it to speed up the game. So yeah, it goes a little bit longer, but we had a lot of fun with it. I think because of how you've talked about Cascadia. Now, granted, I knew nothing about Cascadia.
And Cascadia obviously is a well-loved game. I don't mean to downplay it, but it's not for everybody. It's not for me.
Well, every game's not for everybody.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
But I didn't know what I was getting myself into in terms of playing this game. I had seen the box, but I hadn't really seen gameplay yet. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those, I figured eventually we would play it once you said that your son had bought it, but I didn't expect to play it right away because there was a huge haul of games from Gen Con. And so we pulled it out and I was like, yeah, sure, let's play it. And as soon as we started, you were like, so you're going to probably like Cascadia if you like this game. And I was like, oh, crap. If you talk so bad about Cascadia, I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to like this. What am I getting myself into? And I fell in love with it. It's fun. It plays quick. It looks good. We laughed very hard. I think I did pretty well in the game. I don't remember who won, but not that it really matters. But it was a lot of fun. I definitely enjoyed the game. Oh, you kept the score sheet. That's not good.
This isn't yours.
That's not for mine.
Let's see who won.
No, that's okay. I think one of the things that I liked about this has to do, and maybe this is going to be.
It wasn't you.
I didn't think it was me, but I think I did pretty well. I think one of the things, this is probably going to come into the positives, but one of the things I like about it is that you do have variable setup with this as well. Not that that's a mechanic, but that's definitely a good part of the game in that it's going to be different as you play. You played a lot of deserts. I didn't have any deserts. I played a lot of camps, and I got a lot of points from my camps.
Right.
So that's part of the fun. The mechanic of it is seeing something a little bit different and seeing how each of the different tiles plays different.
And you're never going to play with all the tiles. I can't remember if it's 4 or 5 sets of tiles and then you mix them up, and then you take the monsters and put the monsters in the bag. You can have a variable game every time, and you're always going to have a different boss. So it's got a lot of replayability for what it is, and it allows you to kind of change things up and try different things and different combinations. So
yeah. So I kind of jumped into some of my positives with it being variable setup, especially, and honestly, the artwork just kind of takes me back to my childhood. What about for you? What are your positives?
I would say breadth of who can play this.
Okay.
So for me, like, I'm a dad. I like games that my sons like, and I want to sit there and spend time with them. And so anytime I can have more people in a game, and this is a 5-player game, I will say it forever, love to be able to pull out 5 players of board games. It's just that hard number to hit. So big positive for me is 5 players. Big positive for me is when you can get a range of people playing it and age-wise, and like it. And it's a nice little mechanic. I can see why somebody likes Cascadia. I just thought it was a little too peaceful. There's enough of a little bit of twist in this that gives me the, it's not so serene. And I like that. And I like the theme better. And I R's the nature person. She would like Cascadia more than this one. But, I'm going to lean towards this.
Yeah, I'm always going to go Dungeons,
Yeah.
Monsters, kind of that feel over the nature games myself.
Yeah.
Do you have any negatives?
I mean, this isn't my favorite mechanic, right? Just in that, but I like enough of the thinkiness of it and the quirkiness of it that it overcomes that. But that's my negative is this tile placement games are lower on it than even like the bag builder. Hey,
that's interesting because you do not like bag builders.
I'm fine. Like I say that with a grain of salt. It's not like I hate all of them and stuff, and I hate is even a strong word. It's just like preference, right? It's like a little bit the negative versus, positive or super positive, and I like this. So, to me, it's a tile placement game and a mechanic that I don't necessarily like, and I'm playing it. So, I guess is that a way to clarify it? I don't know if I did a good job of that or not.
I think that's perfectly fine. It's your thoughts on the game, not mine or anybody else's. So I don't know what I would say my negatives are. For what the game is, it delivers on the promise, and it does it in a better way than I thought. I think, for me, if you don't get the gates, there are some things that's going to become very challenging for you to do. Definitely do read through the rules before you start playing, because there are some little intricacies with when you're placing a tile and you're placing the monster onto the board. There's some things you want to keep in mind as you're doing that. I didn't in the beginning grasp that very well, and so I didn't have the best placement in the beginning, and I could not get a gate to save my life. It was the very last play of the game when I finally got a gate.
And then it didn't matter.
And then, at that point, there wasn't much I could do with it. So, not saying that that's a negative, but, you do want to make sure that you're aware of how to place those tiles and place those monsters so that you are able to capitalize on it. I think maybe having a cheat sheet, something that explains each of the little tiles, maybe like how they play, might be helpful, kind of have that player aid. But honestly, it's not a game that you're going to have to reference a player sheet on a regular basis. So it could just be making sure that I know how to play before I dive in actually playing it. But definitely enjoy it. It's not an overly heavyweight game. This is just over a 2 on the 5-point BGG scale. So that's where BGG is currently placing it at a 2, I think 2.03 to be exact. And so with that, again, it delivers exactly on what the game is promising. It's a good tile placement game. It's a pretty good drafting game, I think.
Good little medium weight game.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not hating it. I enjoyed it. I want to play it again.
Yep. It's a nice little game. So the value of this, I would say it's going to, I think it takes a little bit of a hit for me.
Okay.
And that would probably depend on if you thought this game was a 9 or a 10, you probably think the value is like right there. So my value rating, if this were $100, it would be a 1. If this was $1, it'd be a 5, or $10 or $20, probably even 5 at that. This game is closer to 50. It's like 45. Even if you're trying to get it on Amazon or whatever, like there's a $2 discount versus going to the producer's production designer's website. I think this is probably a 3.
Okay.
Value wise, like if this was I got a couple games from AEG, and they're like in the 40s, right? You know, you do get game trays. Game trays deserve for us to pay more money to be able to pull these out and make it a little bit easier to get to the table. So, you know, there's some expense here. The components are nice, so it's not that. For me, I just wish it was a little bit cheaper, you know. And so it's probably, you know, like for me in my experience, you know, I'm putting it at that 2.5, 3 range. I mean, it's a 3. It's a 3 and up, but depending on how much you like this kind of game, right? And I usually judge it, the value versus the experience you're getting for the money you're paying. For my experience, it's a 3. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
I bet you your son would probably give it a little bit higher.
My son would say it's a 4 or 5.
Yeah,
hands down.
Yeah, he loves
hands
this game.
down.
Loves this
so,
game.
like I said, it really comes into your rating and how you like this game.
Yeah.
If this were a $40 game, easily a 4+.
Okay.
Because it's like it's flirting that 45. Like if the retail stuff kind of like brings the price down, gets it under 40, yeah, it's a better value. But right now, being still kind of new and everything, and you can't find it on sale.
Yeah.
I'm going to knock it just a little bit for that.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's a quick game too. I think that's something that sometimes we take into consideration with the rankings. This is going to supposedly play in about 30 minutes. If you're like us and we bicker and fight with each other in between 45. Plays, it's going to be about 45 minutes. So when you're paying $45 for a game, that's only taking you 30 minutes. If you're only going to play it once or twice, yeah, that's going to take a big hit. But I mean, if you're going to be somebody that sits down and plays it all the time, you know, maybe you'll see a little bit more, but I probably would give it about the same as what you're saying. You know, I thought it would be a little bit lower, but components are nice. Game trays are always nice. I'm always going to pay more for a board game with good.
The chinchiest thing in here is the bag.
Yeah, the bag's garbage.
But other than that,
quality-wise,
good game. But, so, what is your rating? What's your BGG rating?
Yes, I'm giving this a 7.
7.
Yes. Yeah, it's a good game. It's one that I'm willing to play. If you recommend it, sure, I'll sit down and play it. I enjoy it. I wanted to play it again after we played the initial game, and so that's always a good sign for me. But I'm not itching to pull this out at every game night.
Yep. So my rating, kind of looking at how I enjoy it personally, right? Even though I would play this if anytime my sons wanted to play it or if Toph or somebody wanted to play it, I'm going to say it's a 7 as well.
Okay.
So, you know, it's not being my favorite mechanic, but like I said, like for not being my favorite mechanic, I'd be willing to play it.
Yeah, that's saying something. I figured it'd be lower.
Well, and I would not have bought this. I personally would not have bought this, but my friends bought it and then they liked it. And, you know, like you start like, okay, why do they like it? And give it a chance and look at this and like, oh yeah, I like the artwork and the tiles are different. They're not all the same tile, just duplicated a whole bunch of times. And, you know, and the game, oh, this is a cute little mechanic and things like that. And so, no, I would have thought you were higher based on how you liked it.
Okay.
So me thinking you're higher and you thinking I've been a little lower, I guess we worked out pretty well. So we're at 7.
We definitely did not plan that either. We normally don't talk about what we rank games before we do it on camera. So it is interesting that we ranked it the same for very different reasons. Yep. I feel like I do like this more than you do. I definitely do.
Yep. So that all works out. So hopefully you enjoy this video. Hopefully you can help us get our subscriber count up. That's always nice. Like it, comment, all those little things help. I mean, if you can just hit that button down there or share it with somebody, you know, little things like that go a very long way, I guess, for the algorithm. And maybe one more person will see us and be like, who are these idiots?
Right. And let us know, have you played Overboss? What do you think of the artwork? Do you think this 8-bit artwork is overdone? I mean, it's kind of a trend thing. Yeah. But I enjoy it. I don't know. I'm old. Brad's a lot older than I am. So he's used to 1-bit video game. Well, video. Do you even know what video was? Let us know. Do you enjoy that? Does it take you back to your childhood? Or do you think it's kind of different than the normal artwork of the other games that you're seeing hit the top of the BGG lists? So,
and remember, whether you're playing solo, with family, or friends,
enjoy whatever games you are bringing to the table.
Have a good night. Bye.